Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel where we give you updates back to back. This is Gospel News with the latest information. Now, we have another info at hand here, which says that the IPOB leader, which is Nnamdi Kanu, is currently undergoing ear infection treatment in DSS custody. And we also heard Kefu that he was rushed to hospital today, being 10th of April 2023. This information is not authentic, but we are getting a leak of it. But I just wanted to put it out to you there. According to the information, the intel, they say that Nnamdi Kanu currently reportedly rushed to the Maitama General Hospital at 2 a.m. One report says it was attempted susu, while another said it was a gastrointestinal infection. Which one it is? Nobody knows the actual problem that he's having. You know, there has been a lot of complications on the health of Nnamdi Kanu, who has been in DSS custody all this while. There is no particular in fact, he has been having multiple issues when it comes to health, which has been the reason for the call for him to have access to his personal doctor, who will be able to diagnose the sicknesses properly and be able to give him drugs that will fit in and cure most of those sicknesses. But the Nigerian government and the DSS has never given him that opportunity. Now, wow. So look at what we have here. While the calls for his release continues, the Northern Group, which says that Northern Group have said that it is not wise, it is unacceptable for Ndibo to continue to call for the release or unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, that it shows that they are unpatriotic to Nigeria. So that's true. Now, Biafrans wants to leave Nigeria. It won't make any sense. It won't make any sense. Now, let's go into details and find out what's going on here. They say that IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu is currently going ear infection treatment in the DSS custody. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, is undergoing treatment on tinnitus ear infection at the detention facility of the Department of State Services, DSS. Kanu's lead counsel, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, who disclosed this after a routine visit at the DSS on Monday, said his legal team was exploring all bottlenecks to ensure that he regained his freedom. Well, as it is right now, it is no longer the court ruling that is holding Nnamdi Kanu, or any bottlenecks or any kind of, will I say, any legal stand that is holding the man in custody right now. The only people holding him is the federal government of Nigeria, Malame and Buhari. These are the people who are currently holding him in detention as I speak to you right now. So the statement partly read, Onyendu was impressed with the progress report, particularly in respect to Umuchineke, who secured their bail in court last week, while efforts have been made aggressively intensified for optimal result. Be assured that Onyendu's legal team, ably led by our erudite-led counsel, Professor Mike Ozekome, SAN, is seamlessly navigating all legal bottlenecks to ensure that Onyendu regains his freedom soon. We are not resting on our oars at all. These are the statements coming from Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. And in continuation with his update, he also let us know that Onyendu is still undergoing treatment within the DSS facility on the recently diagnosed tinnitus ear infection, which will require advanced medical attention. But why is it that they are treating him in DSS custody? Maybe they have a hospital there anyways. We are not quite sure about that. All right. So we are wishing him quick recovery. And I believe that this infection, this so-called infection, was inflicted on him when he was beaten in Kenya and tortured by the people who kidnapped him in that country and forcefully renditioned him back to Nigeria. Now, wow, sorry, Nnamdi Kanu, sorry. Now, moving away from there, a lot of people have been calling for his release. And the Northern group have said that they are not interested in releasing him, that they want Nnamdi Kanu to die in detention, which we say, God forbid. So the northern part of the country said that he must not be released. And these calls are the reason why he has not been released, even though their courts has discharged and acquitted him, which we all saw in the open. According to this northern group of people, they say Ndibo's renewed calls for unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu is unpatriotic. Northern group. What does that mean? It means that Ndibo calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu shows that they are not interested in Nigeria, that they don't support one Nigeria. And I said yes to them, that this country needs renegotiation. People need to know their stand. People need to know whether they really or truly support this one Nigeria. And that's why Nnamdi Kanu has been calling for a referendum that people will decide whether they are interested in a continued Nigeria or they want to go their separate ways, which has been the nightmare of the northern part of the country, who are the unity beggars. Now, they said that the coalition of northern groups, CNG, has described the renewed calls for the unconditional release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, as unpatriotic. The spokesperson of the group, Abdulaziz Suleiman, in a statement issued on Saturday, therefore called on the federal authorities to disregard such unpatriotic calls and remain resolute in seeing the prosecution of Kanu to its logical conclusion, so as not to set the wrong precedent of regional leaders interfering with the course of justice. Justice has been served in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, which the appeal court discharged and acquitted him, but the Nigerian government have refused to release him. So which other justice is the northern group talking about here is what we cannot tell. The northern group observed that the calls for Kanu's release without trial by Ndibo leaders and groups have grown louder since the February 25th presidential election and the consequent emergence of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president-elect. It therefore condemned the renewed calls for the undue termination of the trial of Kanu by Ohaneze and other Ndibo leaders and groups, describing it as insane, unreasonable, unwarranted, thoughtless, and unrealistic. So this shows that this country is not one. These other people will be thinking the other way around, while these other people will be thinking the other way around. It shows that this country cannot work. This country cannot stay together. And this country needs referendum for the people to decide. But the problem we have is that despite the fact, in fact, fear of the unknown has gripped all the so-called professors, all those, name them, all those so-called elites in the country, that if they speak up when it comes to referendum, that they might be arrested or assassinated by this current government who doesn't want anything good for the people of the country. The CNG also kicked against the renewed pressure from Ndibo to secure the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. It added, instead, the president should remain resolute in ensuring the diligent prosecution of Kanu, his sponsors, backers, and collaborators in the heinous crimes against the Nigerian state and innocent Nigerian citizens. I ask, which innocent Nigerian citizens? Well, let me just make this thing clear, categorically clear, that all the Easterners are Biafrans. So in case you want to arrest anything that calls for the liberation of the people and the separation, just go to the east, fence it round, fence everybody, every Igbo man, fence them, lock the key. We will now know that you have arrested Biafra. But as far as people are moving from up to down, till tomorrow, this Biafra agitation will continue until the last day when this freedom will be achieved or actualized. It took the Taliban 20 years of continuous fighting to be able to defeat the US with all their sophisticated weapons in their country, to reclaim their country today, which they are totally in charge, and the US fled. So the quest for Biafra will not be a different scenario. The quest continues. Even those who are government officials today who are bowing down to Fulani will still give birth to people who will be more agitated than their parents. So that is just it. There is nothing anybody can do about the actualization of Biafra. The only way to end Biafra agitation is to lock the Southeast, just lock their key and finish everybody there. Both those who claim to support you, both those governors who claim to kneel down for you, they are the leaders of this IPOB, because everybody is an indigenous person to Biafra before they became Nigeria. So it doesn't matter how you see it. That is who they are. According to these northern elders, they say in order to prevent a descent into anarchy at this day and age, and to forestall mass killings, untold sufferings, and atrocities, the federal government must not accede to the current pressure by Ohaneze and its ilk to secure the unconditional release of the leader of the group that has been duly proscribed as terrorist. Only in Nigeria, IPOB has branches, offices worldwide, and they wear their uniforms. Nobody has disturbed them as terrorists. It is only in Nigeria that people are being killed in the name of trying to stop IPOB. It also alerted the incoming administration on the dangers of falling for the antics of Ndibo. They did not exclude anybody. They said the Ohanese Ndibo and every Igbo person that are calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. That's why you don't see Peter Obi talk about it, because he knows once Peter Obi opens his mouth to say, oh, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, that day they will say that he's the one sponsoring IPOB, and it has been labeled a terrorist group, and he will be picked up. That is what they are waiting. And Peter Obi is also playing smart. I understand. Once he does that, he's going to jail. Nigeria, we hold that with, as a pinpoint to tell him that he's the one sponsoring Nnamdi Kanu. I see the reason why he has been dodging the bullet. It's not that he doesn't know. So people should also try and understand, because once Peter Obi does that, tweet releasing Nnamdi Kanu, blah blah blah, they will say, oh, he is his sponsor, and that will bring another uproar, which might even lead to his arrest and detention as a terrorist sponsor. But quickly, let us listen to Adamu Gaba here on this video on what he said for Barao Jibrin. Watch.
That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, we are talking about government of national competence. And what is competence? It is not the work, it's not the effort of the Northwest alone, but we are talking about competence. And when we are talking about government of national competence, we look at what is the measure of competence. The measure of competence is performance, is the KPI. So the key performance indicator should pay attention to where more value is realized that brought about the government in place. And if we are going to pay attention to that, then I think the most qualified region that should be able to lead, in terms of driving the Senate presidency should be the Northwest. It should be the Northwest. So that's actually my belief. And if you come to the Northwest,
this whole thing is not just about the party. It's now about Nigeria. We should put into consideration Nigeria, don't you think?
Now let's look at Nigeria, right? The Southwest and the North came together in 2015 to form a government. So with that, we have the vice presidency coming from the southwest, and then we have the presidency coming from the northwest. Number 2 man from the southwest, number 1 man from the northwest. And now that we have a new government in place, we have number 1 man from the southwest. What is wrong in number 3 man to be from the northwest? Especially when you combine the 2 regions, they produce the highest amount of vote that kept APC in power. You always have to find a way to fit the area that gives you the best so that you can continue to incentivize their interests. A situation whereby you don't incentivize their interests, you will give opposition more opportunity to hurt us. And whatever we are doing, we should be able to look at 2027. We don't want any obstruction or any issue at all with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed 8-year administration. We're not looking at 4 years, we're looking at 8 years. Asiwaju should rule Nigeria from 2023 to 2031. And if we are trying to make this kind of structure, we should pay attention to the areas that will need to be mainstream so that we can continue to maintain them, to continue to value them.
Oh, I don't hear them. They did not even mention Southeast or anything, Igbo area or Southeast or, yo, mama mia, this is Nigeria for you. Anybody who is telling you that Nigeria is from the Igbo, that person is your enemy. Know that today. It's not about, oh, one Nigeria, one Nigeria. Look at what he's saying. Even though Aneze has been begging for this position now, for where Luriro, they say they don't still carry come. So Mona still there, they wait. Even in 2000, Igbo man will not become the president of Nigeria. It has been sealed and signed. Go anywhere. No prayer can remove it. No Jesus, no God, nothing, nothing. It is human beings that controls this world. God has given man dominion over this earth, and that's why it's impossible. I'll see you guys on the next one, and we wish Nnamdi Kanu a quick recovery. Thank you, and share this video. Bye.